Hello, Rachel and Guppy from Past Building Consultants here. Today we're just going to do a kind of bit of a summary of some of the key takeaways that we've covered in other videos actually for people who are looking at embarking on an SDA journey. So some of the takeaways are that you're really going to have to do your homework. If you're an SDA participant looking to become their own provider, or if you are looking to invest in SDA, become an SDA provider yourself for other people, you really are going to need to spend a lot of time embarking on research and ensuring that this is what you want to be doing. Because then you know what all the potential pitfalls are going to be. So if you basically, what's the saying? If you fail to plan, then you're planning to fail. And I would say that's probably about right for looking at SDA. There is a great deal involved in this process. It's not just a straightforward build. However, it's also not rocket science. And if you do all the right things at the right time and you get the right team behind you, then there is no reason to suppose that it's not going to be, basically your dream come true. Living in your own SDA property is a dream for many, many people. So it's definitely worthwhile, but you do have to spend and commit to doing quite a bit of research. Secondly, get the right team behind you. This is really important because no man is an island, no woman is an island, and having people who can support you and maybe fill in the gaps that aren't your strengths is going to be really, really helpful to you. And when I say your team, that's going to come down to your plan managers, third parties who might be able to provide registration services for you, people who can help you through the SDA journey in terms of finding out if you're eligible for SDA. And then of course I'm talking about your construction team, so your designer, your engineer, your builder, the developer maybe even, and your SDA assessors of course. So having a really good team behind you who can support you and help you through that process, who will listen to you, who are prepared to communicate effectively with you throughout the way, and also guide you, because sometimes what I found in the sort of the design and construction process is, again, a lot of clients have wonderful ideas, but for one reason or another it may not be practical, or there may be a better way of doing things. So if you can engage your team who are able to communicate effectively with you, listen to what you are wanting, but also be able to go, okay, I love that idea, but we can't do that because, and being able to communicate in an open and transparent way is going to be really, really helpful for you. So getting the right team, also just accept that this process is probably going to take a bit of time. Some people are getting their SDA approved very quickly, most people aren't. And sometimes there's a bit of toing and froing as well in terms of the right communication and the right information, and a bit of toing and froing before they get the final outcome that they require. So just accept the fact that it isn't straightforward. Not everybody falls into neat little boxes, which you kind of, when you read all the documentation, you think, oh, that's high physical support, or this is this, or that's that. And it doesn't seem to always be working in that way. And everybody's still learning as well. People in the NDAA, assessors like myself, building certifiers, builders, developers, participants, everybody is still learning in this space, and just accepting that, especially when you're in a situation that might be a little bit different, it can take a little bit longer. So just kind of hang in there, be resilient, and persevere, and just accept that sometimes it isn't necessarily going to be completely straightforward. Don't be afraid to push. So part of that is, if you get a response that you're not necessarily happy with or 100% comfortable with, don't be afraid to ask questions and push and say, well, why is that? Whether it be a decision that the assessor has made, or a decision that the NDAA has come back with, ask why. If you're not quite sure, ask why. See if there's another way around it perhaps. Think a little bit, think critically, think laterally as well, to come up with a solution that's going to be acceptable to everybody. Again, so a lot of what I'm hearing is that the people aren't hearing, and they're having to sort of push and get answers. But don't be afraid to do that, because at the end of the day, if you are looking to see if you're eligible to be a participant, well, if you're eligible, then you deserve to be heard fairly. And if you are told that you're not eligible, then you're perfectly entitled to say, well, why not? And what are the reasons behind this? If necessary, you might need to elevate that to somebody higher up. That's entirely up to you to make that judgment call, but being a shrinking violet is probably not going to be helping. And I know that a lot of the people I've spoken to have been very forthright in making sure that they've been heard fairly and by the right people and have got the decisions that they're comfortable with. So don't be afraid to push. I know that I certainly would be pushing in a lot of situations, and hounding people if necessary. If that's what you've got to do, that's what you've got to do. And then finally, just remember that the whole process is so worth it. Living in your own home, with people around you who you are happy to be with, in maybe a smaller shared accommodation, as opposed to living in accommodation which is entirely unsuitable or is not going to be suitable moving forward for your needs or the family. It is so worthwhile. So definitely, the hard work and the effort will be rewarded, and sort of keeping your sights on that end goal in mind, with that end goal in mind, is going to be really helpful for you, because everyone I've spoken to has moved into their specialist disability accommodation has found that it hasn't always been an easy journey, but it's been a very, very worthwhile one. If everything was really simple in life, I guess you wouldn't appreciate it as much. And although that a lot of the people I've spoken to have already struggled a great deal in their lives and have had to cope with it an awful lot, living in their own homes on their own terms has been one of the things that's really, really made a tremendous impact, a positive impact on their lives and for their families as well. So remember, it is all worth it, and whilst it might be a little bit of hard yards to get there, it's certainly worth the end result. If there's anything else I can help you with, then by all means do reach out, and I will help you wherever I can. And if I can't find the answers for you or help, I will find someone who can. Thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.